Good morning everybody. How are all of you today? It's me, Heather Nichols, for the Thursday Live. It is almost the end of February. I think I last saw you several weeks ago, right at the beginning of February, and here we are just about at the end. So it's good to see you when you pop into the chats. Say good morning. Tell me where you're watching from. I see people chatting already about the kit and what they're going to create with it. So I'm excited to see that when you post that online on our Fans of Tailored Expressions Facebook page. Good morning, Rachel and Michelle and Amy and Amrita. And it's good to see all of you. How are you all doing? It has been a February of weather. We always have to talk about weather, and I think people say, oh, from when you're from Minnesota, because that's where I'm from if you didn't know, we talk about the weather all the time. But I think everybody talks about the weather, right? Everybody has weather conversations. It's an easy thing to talk about with people. So we had kind of our super fake spring a couple weeks ago, where it was 50 degrees and then it got really cold here again. I know a lot of you on the East Coast are dealing with the blizzard that you just had go through. Winter was not done with us yet, right? So the groundhog was kind of right, wasn't he? But March is coming and meteorological spring starts on Sunday, which is promise for some good weather coming. So it's good to see more of you popping in this morning. Marilyn and Vicky and Denise and Peggy and Jennifer. It is so good to see all of you. So let's talk about what's going on this week in Tailored Expressions land, as I like to say. This was the week of our card making kit for February, the Hex Effects Kit. I designed this kit, if you remember, Pieced Patterns and Talking in Circles, which I think Pieced Patterns is in our collection now. Talking Circles, not quite yet, but stay tuned for that. But Hex Effects was so popular, you guys, it is sold out. And I'm sad to say that for all of you that are hoping to get it right now, you can't. There are pieces of the kit that are still available. I'll show those to you when we pop down to my desktop here, because we're going to be crafting with the kit. And yes, the kit is sold out. You can't get the kit. But the things that I'm sharing with you today, for those of you waiting for your kit, you're going to have all sorts of things more ideas for you to use with the kit. And maybe you have other things in your collection, if you don't have the kit, that will inspire you with my projects to pull them out and create with. So we always like to share, even though it's, we didn't have enough time to get another project in the mix. But I hope you guys enjoy what I have to share today. Yes, you guys are talking about the weather. Oh, the time change. You guys, next week is Virtual Stamp Joy, which I'm going down to Iowa. And it never fails that the spring ahead is on the Sunday when I'm driving back home. So it's a travel day for me usually, so it kind of absorbs everything, but it just always is, that's just always what happens. It's always that Sunday after we're down in Iowa for Virtual Stamp Joy. So if you guys are attending, I'm so excited to see you online. I know we have some people coming in person. I'm excited to see you in person. It's always so much fun to meet all of you. We're gonna have a great time. I have seen the lineup. You will not be disappointed. It's going to be so great. I know you guys have received your boxes and everything. So, and if you're not attending Virtual Stamp Joy, it's something you should do. When we have virtual events like this, it allows you to craft from your own home, makes it accessible, gives you a little bit of community, which I love our community that we have at Tailored Expressions, and you get to do some fun crafting too. So make plans to join us if you haven't, because it's definitely worth it. I have a lot of fun, and I know the people who have participated have a lot of fun too. So now back to the kit. If you do want some more inspiration besides what I'm going to share today, on Tuesday, Taylor shared a project online. She also went through more of the kit on the live. And then Mindy Egan has a video with 4 different cards that she created with the kit. So it really shows the versatility of the different products that we released in the kit and alongside of the kit as well. So yeah, lots of you excited for Virtual Stamp Joy. It's going to be a great time. So make sure you check those out, and obviously this video too, and you can rewatch this after we're done being live. So like I said, I'll go through what you can still get in the web store. They were the add-on items that are sold alongside of the kit, but the actual kit is sold out. All right, so I said Virtual Stamp Joy is next week, but also next week, you guys, it's time for Easter. So you're going to want to stay tuned this weekend for the peaks that are going to come in for the Easter release next week. And so watch for that. And then also Tuesday, then Taylor will be live with the Easter release as well, which means I have a few Easter sneak peeks. Are you ready for Easter? I've seen other companies' Easter products start coming out, but I haven't seen like a flood of Easter stuff yet. And I think it's coming here now. So it's time to kind of switch gears from, I don't know, where were we? Valentine's Day? I don't know. Sometimes this spring, you know, then Easter hits, and then we're kind of in Summerland, and then Halloween and Christmas, and it's time for all of that already. So, yes. So Easter is here. I have 2 projects to share, and it is a small taste of what is coming for you. I should say, somebody asked about, will there be any more kits? Not right now. We will release things later. And so you're just going to have to pay attention to our social media for that. And I don't know the timing, and I can't share the timing with you on that. So stay tuned. It's not going to be your last chance to get at least pieces from this kit because it was so popular. I think it's a good basic. Some of these shape building and pattern building sets are something that we really want to have in our collection. So we like to give it to you as a kind of an exclusive first, but then release things later. So, oh yeah. That's the other thing somebody brought up. I'm going to put this graphic up. If you are Rainbow Royalty or super fans through the end of the day today, through 11:59 p.m. Central Time, it's double points time for Rainbow Royalty and super fans. So if you're not a part of that, you'll want to check out our rewards program on our website, and you should be signed up for it so that you can work your way up to Rainbow Royalty and super fan level. Okay. So thank you for reminding me of that. All right, you guys are saying bring on Easter. Okay, so here is the first one. There is a couple of different peaks on this little pair of cards here for Easter. Yeah, I'll just let you take that in. I used my Happy Mail little mailbox with that. There's some kind of little mailing types of things that go along with things you might have seen earlier. So there's your one peek. And then this is for this little collection of projects, and it's beautiful. The reason for the season of Easter, and I know so many of you out there appreciate that we come up with different ideas to craft for the reason for the Easter season. So here is your peek of that, and you'll be able to see more next week. The samples from the creative team are adorable, not adorable, and beautiful. Well, adorable when you talk about the Easter bunnies, beautiful and elegant with the other pieces that I showed you too. So stay tuned for that. There's your first peek. You're going to see more coming throughout the weekend. Follow our social media, join our Fans of Tailored Expressions Facebook page, and you're going to have a whole lot of fun getting all of that inspiration next week. So, okay, so let's flip down. We're going to craft with the kit. I'm going to show you the things that you can still get in the shop TE web store right now. But yeah, we're just going to do some inspiration. And like I said, even if you don't have the kit or anything, I hope this kind of piques your inspiration to pull something out and play with color, pattern, something like that. All right, so let's flip you down. I'm going to the wrong thing. Here is my desk. These are the projects I created with the kit. We're going to do this project today using the maps. And we'll go through all of that. Here's my other card. So if you watched Taylor's video on Tuesday, she created a card with the layering stencil, which is what I used here, and then also popped up hexagons on her background, which I didn't do the patterned hexagons, but I did pop cardstock hexagons over my stencil design on there. I really had a lot of fun with this stencil. And I think that's what this whole thing with the kit is just designed around play, color play, pattern play, all of that sort of thing. It just makes it so easy. You can take both of these card designs, you can change up the color combination on here, you can change up the patterns of how you lay out the hexagons, and just have a lot of fun with creating. You can, I mean, these are perfect for creating backgrounds so that you have a bunch ready to go, all of that. And we'll walk through more of that as we go through the project. So, what is still available from the kit? I have a lot of pieces here. The pierced cutting plate here is still available. So this gives you a beautiful background that you can use on its own, or you can use it to help build your patterns with the hexagons as well. So this is still available in the web store. These are in the kit, so these are not available. The layering stencil set I talked about is also still available in the web store. I had so much fun crafting with this. If you guys watched Taylor on Tuesday, she also used this on her project, and I love the project she shared. So this one is still available. So there's still options for that. You also can still get the insiders, and you can also still get the maps that we're using. So if you wanted to get the maps now and figure out a way to use it with a hexagon shape. Also, if you have the kit and you need more maps so that you can create more patterns, those are available as well. So that's what you can get now in the kit. So we're going to create with the maps. And the thing that I love about the maps, and we have maps for piece patterns, we have maps for our strips, there is maps for the Talking in Circles kit that we did, but they're a little bit different because of how circles work on a background. But they are designed to take the guesswork out of patterns. I mean, you could cut out a bunch of hexagons and go crazy just making some designs, but sometimes it's nice to have some sort of thing to get you jump started on this. So literally, people were talking about how this looks like quilt patterns. I spent so much time looking through quilt patterns, and the other thing, like, you know, in a bathroom floor, the hexagon floor tiles, and going through all these patterns and finding, so I did the work for you guys. I sat and poured through everything and then put these patterns together so that you can easily create them on your projects. So there are so many possibilities of what you can do. And these are done in grayscale so that you can see the different portions, but like just because this is dark, you could put a lighter color on there as well. It's just, you would just want to put your specific color on there. And we'll go through that when we get to that. I'm going to use the same one that I used for my card. I love the little kind of they're nested little flowers together. And that's what we're going to use for our maps. And our maps are like a thin paper, so you can actually just adhere directly to the map. It's not going to really affect the thickness of your card at all because it's so thin. Oh, Rachel, yeah, she's talking about the hexagon stacklets. And I don't know if there's one that's exactly the same size. When I designed the kit, I wasn't totally into all of the other pieces. I'm kind of in the zone with the kit. So what we got to do with our map is we need to cut out hexagons. And I do have some cut out, but let's go ahead and cut out some more colors. I really just started this project going, what color combination am I going to use? And so what I landed on, and I think is February's challenge, is the cool versus warm colors. And this is definitely in the cool zone of colors, the blues and the greens here. Taylor's project on Tuesday was more in the warm tones with the pinks and kind of more corally colors. But we've got Brussels sprout here. I've got honeydew melon. Of course, I have Toffee and Tiki Mule, and this is sour Gummy. So really, literally, sometimes what I do is I have quarter sheets of cardstock that are cut, or I trim them, and I just start laying them out on my desk to see what I like. Now, of course, we have all of the new color cards that were just recently released, so you could go onto one of those cards and choose one of those color combinations to do as well. Or start with that color combination, and maybe you're like, I think I want a different red, or I think I want a different blue, and swap things out. So that's kind of my process that I went through to pick my colors for this project. So we're gonna cut out some plain ones. I've got patterned hexagons cut out, and those were cut out with the Hex Effects cutting plate from the kit to do that. But we're just gonna cut out the solid hexagons here, and I'll just use my pre-cut one. So I'm gonna grab my die cut machine and get that up here. Definitely need a nice pile of hexagons to get going here. So I'm just gonna run this through with each of my colors that I picked for my color combination. And I think one thing that is a good idea, you obviously can cut these hexagons as you're doing your project, right? And just cut as you need or whatever, but you also could pre-cut. So you could sit and you could cut your shapes out and kind of arrange them by color and whatnot, so that you have a good variety of colors to choose from, and just then you can sit down later and do your patterns. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. We have all of our different organizers that you can sort your shapes into with the simple storage systems that we have. You can store them actually however you want to, whatever works and makes the most sense to you. So that was Sour Gummy. Here's Tiki Mule. Here's my Toffee. I mean, and I picked 5 colors, but you could kind of treat it like a scrap quilt and have all sorts of colors, not just 5. Do what feels right to you. Do what inspires you. Okay. I'm just going to cut one out of each because I think I have plenty with the pieces that I have sitting that I have already cut. There's some plain ones in there. I'm going to make it work. Honeydew melon, so I just have the Brussels sprout to cut out, and I can cut some extra out if it seems like we need more. Jocelyn said she's definitely pre-cutting a lot when she gets her kit. Yeah, seriously, set up a little station, put in a good audio book or watch a movie and just cut away. I am listening to, it was kind of a popular book last year, and about halfway through, The Correspondent, which has been a fun book to listen to. It's been a good story. So I don't know if any of you are listening to audiobooks or if you've read that one or whatever. That is what is on my Audible right now anyway, or you know what I mean. Okay, so let's go back to our map. I have my little colors here, and like I said, I have some other ones cut out, so I will just leave those up there for now. Here is my map. So what you're going to need with the map is you're going to need some sort of adhesive to stick down the pieces. The easiest one, now you could definitely take each one and add your adhesive to the back, a glue, a liquid glue, a tape runner, whatever. I like to use a sticky sheet because it adds adhesive to the whole piece at one time. So there's, like I said, there's different ways to do this. So this is a double-sided adhesive sheet. So I'm going to peel off the one. I'm going to just line that up with the corner there. I'm just going to layer that right over the top of the map. Amy said you're big into Colleen Hoover. I have not read any of her books. She's the one that wrote, is it Verity? The one that's going to be a movie soon? I'm not really into like super thriller horror types of things, so if there's any sort of inkling that it's going to be that, I probably wouldn't read it. Now, it's up to you when you have a sticky sheet, so once you peel this off, the adhesive is right there. So you can just do a section at a time. So I will be honest, I want to see my whole map, so I just took the whole thing off. I guess if I have to walk away, I could stick my map on top. But I think for me, I felt like I needed it right in front of me like this. So I'm going to just kind of set this right here and just kind of decide. And actually, I'm gonna turn mine over, and we're just gonna start creating. I'm gonna start with Honeydew Melon. Actually, what is my center going to be here? Let's do a Sour Gummy center. And we're just going to start placing the hexagons right into the printed shapes on the map. Like so. And just start piecing. So I'm going to do Sour Gummy in the center of this one, and we're going to do that. And I'm butting them up next to each other. And yes, it's sticking to me because I'm choosing to take that whole sheet off. You don't think she's that kind of writer? I know Taylor has read it. So I've got Honeydew Melon for this first one. See how easy that was? I already have one little flower done. And my goal here is that I don't want colors touching each other. And I want the colors kind of spread out. That's kind of my things that I'm thinking about as I'm putting this together. So maybe I'll do let's do Tiki Mule here on this next flower. Kind of my main colors really are the, like Toffee's kind of my supporting color, so I don't necessarily want that as a main flower, I guess. And when you're quilting, you do this too. You have kind of your main colors, and then you also have your kind of supporting colors. Let's do Toffee in the center of this one though. I'm literally just placing them down in there, and because I put that sticky sheet on there, I don't have to put any sort of adhesive on my pieces or anything like that. Verity is not a horror book, it's just mystery with romance. I think something I saw said thriller, right? Am I wrong with that? I don't know. Thriller sometimes means blood, and I'm not into that. Okay, I'm going to kind of do this one here. Let's do this one in Brussels sprout. And so even though I have the same color combination, because I'm not laying everything out the same way, I'm going to get a little bit different look. Psychological drama, not scary. Many plot twists. Well, you guys, are you trying to talk me into it? Oh. You know Taylor's favorite show is Dateline, right? We give her all sorts of grief about that. Okay, what should I do for the center here? I could do the blue, or maybe I do the honeydew. All right, so we've got kind of our three main flowers. So I'm going to do sour gummy here. See how easy this is? This is kind of actually almost meditative, actually, when you think about, you're just kind of placing the pieces. It's like putting a puzzle together, but you're kind of making the choices. Obviously, you don't have to find the pieces. So much easier than a puzzle, really. Okay, I need a center there. Which one haven't I used? I have not used Tiki Mule for a center. Just because I want my pieces butting up pretty close to each other, so this one is making me a little crazy because it's not quite right. Slowly peel that up, press that in. There we go. That feels so much better. Now this part's bugging me. Sometimes I'll just kind of push to see if I can get them to slide. Okay, let's see here. Let's do Toffee here, because now we're just kind of filling in some of these edge pieces to kind of fill in the pattern, and obviously we're overlapping outside the edge of the card. I am going to do, let's do Brussels sprout here. I'm going to go into my little pile of pieces here to grab additional hexagons. And let's see here. I think I'm going to put sour gummy over here. Thanks for letting me know. Not scary, but full disclosure, I think some people said there may have been one specific sensitive spot or scene. You didn't think so personally. It's good to know though. Sometimes I'm okay. I'd rather read it than see it on camera, if that makes sense. Do better with that. Okay, what should I put up here? Because I've got this here. I'm a little stuck now because I think, oh, I could do, no, Tiki Mule's right here. Let's do my center here. I'll probably just fill in with some sort of, I'll do Toffee there. That works. Put those in there. Then let's see, I'm just gonna pop this little Toffee one down here. And then I have a little tiny piece up here, which I'm thinking, let's see what I've got up in my piece. We'll put a Tiki Mule there. And do a, there. So there is our completed map. Kristen Hanna, I love her. I've read lots of her books. The Nightingale is so good. So there is the completed map. So there we've got this, and of course this is cut to an A2 panel like that. So we're going to want to trim that down. And you can use, you know, a A2 layer stacklets to do it if you want to do it. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors. Now Taylor had a nice big long pair of scissors when she was trimming pieces off, and that's probably it is a really good recommendation for, it helps you cut straighter. It gives you a little bit more control. This one is not happy up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just going to use my scissors and cut right along the edge of that map. Now, if it's cardstock that I'm cutting against, that gives it, to me, it's a little bit easier because it kind of makes a little barrier. This one, not so much. I might have to put a little extra adhesive on these tiny tinies. And I'm not super concerned. I could use my paper cutter too, but then I feel like things slide around a little bit more. Once you get it all said and done and glued down on the card, it's good. But it's totally up to you how you want to do this. Pair of scissors, or if you want to use a die cut or a paper cutter, however works best for you. Making big long cuts helps you get straighter cuts as well. If you're doing chop cuts, you're going to have chop edges. You guys are giving great recommendations. If I wasn't crafting, I should be writing these all down. Maybe somebody needs to compile our live book list. Okay, I'm just gonna take my little pieces, extra pieces, and get rid of those. So there is my pattern. Let's take a look at my card so you can see. Same color combination, but definitely a slightly different look to it because we kind of changed around where the colors are on the pattern. So just because you use the color combination once doesn't mean the next time you use it, it's going to be the same. Same with stencils too. The order that you stencil, all of that. It's going to give you a little bit different look. Drastic look different? No, in this case, but still different. Yes, it reminds me of, yes, April says it reminds me of old-fashioned tile. Very satisfying. Yes, this would be such a fun floor, wouldn't it? Like in a bathroom, cute, like do a fun floor. I love that sort of stuff. You can get away with that. Okay, we're gonna cut out a frame because I framed my design using one of the A2 thin frames from the A2 thin frame cutting plates. So I'm gonna cut this out of sour gummy. This is one of my go-to basics, this A2 thin frame cutting plate. I use it so much. We talked about this before. I need my, hold on, When you're cutting with this plate, you're gonna need your metal shim. I didn't have mine out, so I'm just gonna add that into my sandwich here with my cutting plate. So really it's just your regular die cutting plate sandwich with that shim added in there for extra pressure. Anytime you have a die that's kind of more detailed or fine, you're definitely gonna want that shim. So this is what it looks like. So you're gonna get all these little frames cut out at one time. I actually have, this is one of the storage pockets for stamp sets, and been keeping my frames in there so I can dig in there when I want something. There are some sour gummy frames in there already, but maybe not the size I needed. So, because when you cut it once, that's maybe the one downfall. You cut it once, you get one of that one size. So you either have to use different sizes or cut lots of them. Okay, let's send this through. I've got it at a slight angle. That helps some of these dies go through the die cut machine just a little bit smoother when you put them at an angle like that instead of just straight on. It always sticks in the die for me. And then we're just gonna poke it out. And sometimes we can get it in one shot. But usually it's in pieces like this. I have been doing more mysteries, you guys. I wasn't into mysteries. My mom loves mysteries. My husband likes mysteries, but we've been watching some different of the kind of the British mystery programs. I don't know if you guys have seen the Thursday Night Murder Club on Netflix, and there's a whole book series by that author as well. So it's what you would call a cozy mystery, which makes me laugh because cozy murder doesn't make sense. But what do you do? Okay, so there's that. The other thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a sentiment with, we're just gonna spell out a sentiment. Taylor shared a lot of the mega messages ones she used on her cards. I have mega messages thanks on this card, and used the backer with some vellum. And for this one, I spelled out the words with the stitched alpha die set. Jill used the tall, what is it called? It's the taller, skinnier alphabet when she did the Hex card, which is so fun. But this is the stitched alpha set. You can get the alphabet. There's also numbers as well. So we're going to cut out hello. And I'm actually going to stack up the letters a few times. I've already got the extra layers cut. So we're just going to cut out hello. So let's grab those letters. Then we'll have everything cut out and we can put our card together. H-E-L-O. I'm going to cut the L out twice. Oop. I have Frozen River, Barbara. It's sitting on my nightstand. I wanted to see if I could find it at the thrift store. And I finally did. So that's what I did. I was hoping I could maybe find the correspondent at the thrift store. I'm a big book thrift store person. But then I got a thing to get it on Audible. So I did that. Because Lori and Jill have read it and we need to discuss. So I need to finish it. Yes, cozy is usually the setting. You're right. Murders are not cozy at all. And I do like the murders in the building. And yes, there is blood. I know I said I don't like blood, but it's not overly bloody. You guys know what I'm talking about when a movie is overly bloody. I can't do it. Put my letters back so I don't lose them. Oh, Danine's gonna get it. See? We could have the TE book club. Although I don't know. I'm doing better at reading. I have read a lot. But sometimes you go through phases where you're just not reading a lot. And that was the last couple years for me. And now I'm really working hard on picking that back up again. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna take, so the biggest frame goes right to the edge of this, which would look nice. But I'm gonna use the next one down. And we're gonna apply that. So we're just gonna frame that up, and it just gives a nice finish to a background pattern like this. And even if you're stamping like a background design or a stencil design and you want that to be kind of a focal point on your card, framing it just polishes it up, gives it a nice finish like that. Rachel, that's exactly what I mean. I don't like the gore part. Christine, I did spill the tea at the beginning, so when I'm all done, you'll have to go back and watch, because it is the Easter release next week. Right, I'm using a liquid adhesive. My favorite is Multimedia Matte. Oh, I didn't splatter yet. I'll put the frame on and then we'll splatter. I mean, you don't have to splatter, but I like it. Well, Christine, I know the orders were taking longer because there was the color cards. Whoop! Oh, that's fun. I'm gonna get glue all the way across the front of my card. The color cards were very popular, and so they're taking a little bit longer to pick and send out. So they are coming. They did get a lot of orders in from last week's release. Okay, I don't know if I can. Well, I'm gonna put something over the center of that anyway, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, let me get my magnets to hold this down, and I need to wipe up this. Oh. It's okay. Everything's okay. It's okay. Clean up this glue glob here. It's real life, you guys. This is how my crafting goes sometimes. I found that the magnets just for a little bit on your card when you are gluing things down. Let's go ahead and do our letters while that's drying. And then we'll do some splattering. So I'm just gonna sort my letters here. I've got the H's, maybe all the H's. Oh, here they are. I'm like, I only have 2, I need 3. The L's and the O's. Okay. I'm just going to use liquid adhesive for these as well. And when I stack my sentiments or really any kind of die cut like that, I like to put the adhesive on the front of the layers that I'm stacking on top of. Make sure these are kind of pressed together, and I'll put the other layer on. For me and my crafting, this is what makes sense to do. And sometimes I'm lazy and I just use my tape runner, but today I'm not being so lazy, I guess. Ooh, Christine, that is a great birthday present, getting the kit. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a magnet on top of that. Let's do the E. I'm just doing the dot, dot, dot. Christine, I have Frozen River. I have not read it yet. many of my friends have, but I didn't get it right away because, like I said, I like to thrift books, and it's a newer-ish book, if not newer-ish. I mean, it's in paperback now, but I think it's popular enough. It's not necessarily easy to find at thrift stores, but I found it. Took me a while. Yes, these letters go really nice with the hexagons. Like I said, that tall alpha, it was first came out in that kit, but you can get the tall alpha too, and that also is really lovely with this kit. Anything that you really want, you have a background like this and you want a real kind of clean, simple sentiment. Alphabets like this, those mega messages sets are great. We had the other ones that came out, is it Celebrate and Wish Big? Those are also really great ones. They're not mega messages, but they're like, come on and something. That's right, dot, 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 not a lot, lot, lot. I think that's Taylor's daughter, Charlie, but we all know it. Okay, this should be fine, so I'm going to take my magnets from there. Yes, I have 6 of these magnets. I love them. I needed all of them. I probably could get more. My whole like board would be lined up with it already is lined up with magnets, quite honestly. I don't remember who the author of Frozen River is. I just know there's a lady in a red coat on the cover. On a river? Somebody here knows. April, you were asking, this is the stitched alpha. I want to say it came out with a Halloween release a little while ago. I could be wrong, but I remember using them on Halloween tags because I was putting names on there. Traveling all the way across my board here to do all my letters. One more here, and then we'll splatter. All right, so I've got my letters put together for hello. I mean, if you're mass producing, this takes a minute to get all these letters put together. Maybe choose the mega messages if you're going to mass produce. Oops, took it off the L. Actually, let me slide these up a little bit so they're out of the way for the splattering, because I don't need splatters on my letters really. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I wanted to add a little bit of extra dimension and put a patterned hexagon popped up on some of there. And I actually see I put a patterned one inset into this one, which I didn't here. So I'm just going to leave that. That's fine. We're just going to pop up the 3 here to add a little bit more dimension. And then I've got a spot for my sentiment here since these are popped up. So let's go to my pieces, and again, this is what I cut out with that Hex Effects cutting plate. I just ran this through with all of the different colors and popped out those patterned hexagons. So let's do one here. Let's do one here. And Need a Toffee one for up there. That's a plain one. Ooh, here's a stripey one. Do a stripey one. There. And let's put those on with the, hold on one second. I did not grab this. These are the thin foam squares, so these are the really kind of 1/32nd, am I right? Yep, 1/32 wide, thick. And I'm just gonna put those right on top of those centers. And of course, you could just leave your background as is. You don't have to pop stuff up, but this just adds that extra piece of texture and dimension. And here, this just goes kind of butts right up to that border, and that's okay if it overlaps it a little bit. Just like that. Just polishes it up even more. We framed it in, we're giving it a little texture. Let's give it a little bit more texture with some splatters. So I got I love to splatter with the chocolate truffle liquid watercolor, which I'm gonna need to get another bottle of this. It is getting down to the bottom. This is that little mini square glass mat. I just leave it on there to use as a palette. I'm gonna pick my color up with a water brush. You can use a paintbrush and a cup of water, whatever works for you. And I'm gonna tap the brush over my finger to add the splatters to my background. Clean my brush off. This is a good masculine color combination. Really, you choose whatever color combination is your card recipient's favorite. And let's see, this is the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. I'm gonna need another bottle of that too. I'm making my list for when I'm down in Iowa next week. I'm gonna pick up some of that color. I like to work it on the lid a little bit. You could work it on an acrylic block. And again, I'm gonna tap that brush over my finger to add splatters. Splattering is so unpredictable, and you have to keep doing it and practicing it to understand how your brushes work and your medium works for you to get the kind of random splatters. I'm just going to clean my brush out, get that white ink out of there. I need to fill up my water brush some more. Just going to push it all out. The white ink can mess up your brush, so make sure you get that nice and clean out of there. Nice and clean and out of there. Okay. Let me clean up my surface just a little bit here. And we'll put the letters on. And Jocelyn, if splatter scares you, then you don't have to do splatter. There's no rules, there's no card police, there's no splatter police. Okay, so we're gonna do the hello. And there's always, if you're scared of splatter, but you like splatter, there are splatter stamp options out there. Okay, so I am gonna just start setting my letters out. I am just using a tape runner on the back of this. And for me, I could use liquid adhesive, but I gotta better know exactly where those letters are gonna go. Otherwise, we're gonna have the same problem we had when I dropped my frame on my card and have glue globs or smudges everywhere. Doing the tape runner in the back. There's a little bit of reposition time here, and if I have to move something, I'm not pressing these letters down really hard. So when I'm ready to commit, I'll commit, but right now I'm just kind of lightly setting them down. And obviously I need to scooch things a little bit. You can use a ruler to do this. I'm gonna eyeball. I'm kind of following this line here of hexagon sides. And I think my other card actually went up a little higher. So I must have followed a different line, but that gives me a little more, oh, not there. Maybe like right here. There's lots of different methods out there for lining up single letters like this, so. That doesn't look too bad though. Maybe I'll scooch up to just kind of match. This is the graphic designer in me saying that should go right there so we don't have this goofy little shape problem there. So if you want, you could grab your ruler. I usually just kind of line up with two kind of horizontal pieces. And then if you need to adjust anything, you can do that. That's feeling pretty good to me. The water brush that I'm using is not a TE water brush. We do sell water brushes at TE. This is my favorite brush. We've talked about carrying it. It's one that they can't get, and that's fine. Just look up the Faber-Castell on Amazon and you should be able to find it. Otherwise, I think the water brush that we carry is similar. It's either like similar to this or this. It has a little bit smaller bristles on the top, but those would also work for splattering. But you know how you find your favorite tool and that's just what you use, and this is what I love. So. Michelle, you're using a T-square. I have one somewhere right here. I could use that too. So, but I think this turned out pretty cute. And then I'm gonna add a few little gems, but let's get this on a card base first. So, I could cut my own card base because it's an A2, but I love the heavyweight card bases because they're already cut and scored for me. And so I just treat myself and get those. I'm just folding that, creasing it with a bone folder. And let's get that on there. A little bit of adhesive stuck on here from me doing my letters. Hi Candy, it's good to see you. It has been a while. Okay, so there we've got it on the card base, and just for a little bling on there, I've got a few little bits and pieces glossy white rhinestones. So let's grab those. Haven't upgraded my embellishment storage yet. I'm thinking about switching to the new, going back to the bottles again. I don't know, we'll see. It's an ever-evolving process, the organization. This is gonna solve everything. Oh, no, that looks better. So I'm doing 3. I'm kind of arranging them in a triangular formation. It helps kind of guide your eye around your card, around your kind of focal points. All right, let's glue these down with liquid adhesive again. One, two, three. And there it is. Yay! So here's the card we created today. Here's the card I created before. It's very similar, but a little bit different look because we switched around how we placed those colors in the background using the maps, which made creating that floral background, floral quilty hexagon background, really easy to do. Nice. Let me flip you guys up to the top here. So there we go. Let me pull them up again so you can see them again. Yay! So I hope you guys enjoyed crafting with the kit today. Again, the kit is sold out. There are pieces that will be released in the future, so stay tuned to that if you weren't able to get your hands in the kit. For those of you who were able to order the kit, now you have some more jumping off inspiration. We had, like I said, Taylor on Tuesday, Mindy on Tuesday on the YouTube, and then today as well, plus all of the projects from the design team. So you have lots of inspiration to get started in creating with your kit. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to watch for sneak peeks for the Easter release and join Taylor next Tuesday. And for all of you going to Virtual Stamp Joy next week, I will see you then. So have a great day.